I'm so excited to be filming this makeup look on the first official day of spring. Obviously this will be published later, but I'm filming it on the first day of spring. It's cloudy, but it's not snowing nor winter anymore, so I'm a happy girl. The look I'm going for today is like a glowy, bronzed, highlighted, pink, but still really kind of easy makeup look, and everything I got can be found at Sephora. I'm sure you know by now that I love shopping at Sephora. They have so much stuff there, from makeup to skincare to hair products, and I swear whenever I'm in there, and it's not just because I'm a beauty blogger, people are offering me samples, and I'm looking at a product and they're like, you know, I can give you a little sample of that if you want to try it. So if you go into the store and you talk to somebody that works there, one, they know a ton of stuff, and two, they're always willing to really help you out and give you a sample if you want a sample. So if you don't know that, that's my little tip. Another thing is, join the Sephora Beauty Insider program. It doesn't cost anything, and you get a bunch of promotions, and you get clued in on events and discounts, and it just doesn't hurt to be a member, and you can earn your way to a higher status. I think I'm like at the tip top because of my frequent shopping at Sephora. But if you want to know more about the Beauty Insider program, I'll put a link to that right below this video on YouTube and in the blog post that'll coincide with this video as well. This video was created in partnership with Sephora. So let's start with a glowy primer. This is the Banana Bright Face Primer. It has vitamin C and banana powder inspired pigments. I love Ulla Henriksen. I'm gonna just put a little bit of this on my finger, and then I will press this into the center of my skin and work my way out. I've been using this on days that I skip makeup altogether. Even though it is like a face primer, you don't have to put makeup over top of it, and it gives my skin such a nice radiant finish. I kind of like showing it off. Next up, I'm going to do foundation. I like to do eyes first, but today I'm going to do foundation first. What I'm going to do is mix Nars Sheer Glow with the limited edition Nars Sheer or Super Radiant Booster. This is like a very shimmery, bronzy shade. So I'm just going to put a touch of this on top of the foundation and then apply with my fingers. I like applying like sheer buildable foundations with my fingers because I can really kind of control where the product goes. So I put the foundation there, and then I should have opened this before I pressed it into my fingers, but I did it. So I'll just put a little dot of this in, and this simply adds some more radiance to my foundation. All right, so that's what I'm working with. Next up is concealer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer. I love all of the brightness this adds to my under eye, and it doesn't look like you're putting a pile of concealer under there. So I kind of do a triangle of product and then use my finger as well to blend it in, just like I did the foundation. And I like to just gently press the concealer in instead of rubbing it. I find that if you rub, you'll kind of pull the product away, and you'll also stretch that really delicate under eye skin. So just tapping pushes the product right in, and the warmth of your finger helps melt it. The step I never skip with concealer is setting it with the Secret Brightening Powder by Laura Mercier. Just grabbing a fluffy brush and just pressing some of this translucent setting powder right on top of the concealer. This keeps it from feeling tacky, and it also adds some brightness as well. I've been doing this for a long time and just missed my first day of setting my concealer the other day and was like, the horror! And I really missed it. So this product is a true game changer. I'm going to move on to eyes next before I finish my face, and I'm using a Bobbi Brown eyeshadow crayon. This shade is Nude Beach. I love cream eyeshadows, eyeshadow sticks like this. They're so dang easy to use. You can also blend them in with your fingers, so you don't need a ton of brushes. And I love this color for just a great sort of neutral taupe. To add a little bit of that same eyeshadow crayon to my lower lash line, I'm just going to press this smudge brush against the side of the crayon and then just draw a little bit under my lower lash line. I really don't like to use a strong eyeliner under my eyes. I feel like it drags my eyes down, but I want some definition, so kind of to create a shadow, so eyeshadow is really good for that. So I've just put some product directly on this brush, and I'll just go back and forth under my lash line here until I get that depth. I'm not going to go too bold with the eyeliner. I'm just going to use a liquid eyeliner in a deep chocolate brown right along my lash line, like as tight as I can get to my lash line, because I want the mascara to really pop and my lashes to look long, so I don't want a thick line of liner. So I'll just drag this like kind of on its side right against the base of my lashes. So I just have a skinny line of eyeliner there, then I'm going to go in with mascara and put a few coats of this on so I get a lot of length and kind of flare for my lashes. Mascara is finished, and let's move on to bronzer and highlighter. I'm going to use the Hoola bronzer by Benefit, which is such a nice warmth. It's kind of a universally flattering shade, I found. I'm just very gently pressing the brush against my skin. I don't want to press it too hard, but you can already see it creates just this really pretty glow to the skin, kind of like you have a tan when you don't, because obviously I don't. I did bronzer first because I'm using a cream blush, such a pretty cream blush. This is by Nars. And then I'm gonna do highlighter last. If you're using a powder blush, you can put blush on first and then bronzer. The order doesn't really matter, but when I'm using a cream blush, I'm going sort of in the same area that the bronzer was on, so I don't wanna put a powder product over the blush because it's a liquid and I wanna give it a little time to kind of settle into the skin, if that makes sense. So my favorite way to apply this is with a brush. So I'll press a little bit of it onto the back of my hand, and a little bit goes a long way, and then dab the brush in it and press it onto my cheeks. Woo! I'm ready to move on to the eyebrows, but let me do highlighter first. This is an oldie but a goodie from Hourglass. This is the Luminous Light highlighter. So beautiful. I'm gonna hit the top of my cheeks, the center of my forehead, down my nose, and then right above my lip. Isn't that so pretty? It's kind of natural looking too to me. It's not too in your face for a highlighter. I don't want to look like, whoa, that girl's glowing. I feel like this just gives my face nice dimension and looks pretty without being over the top. Okay, let's move on to eyebrows. I've scooted you in a little closer so you can see the whole eyebrow process. I'm using a new product by Anastasia that I love. This is their eyebrow gel. The shade I have here is Taupe. I'm going to start with another Anastasia product. This is the Perfect Brow Pencil. I also like a third Anastasia product, the Brow Wiz. But I've been liking the pencil these days. So when you're mapping out your brows, you can see I have almost none. You always want to kind of start naturally, where if you were to lay, let's do a skinnier brush here. If you were to lay a brush against the side of your nose, that's going to be how far in you want to go. And then if you cover the center of your eye, where it hits here is about the point where you want the arch to hit. And then if you go to the outer corner of your eye, you don't really want to go past that area. So this little method of 1, 2, 3 kind of gives you a starting point of where you want to go. If you're new to kind of mapping out your eyebrow shape, you can put a little dot as you're mapping, but I kind of know the shape I'm going for, so I'm just going to wing it. And like I said, I'm using the Perfect Brow Pencil in Taupe. I've used Taupe or Blonde for my coloring, and I find I like Taupe a little bit better than Blonde. Blonde, you have to work a little hard to get it to show up, so Taupe works for me. And I like to do very small, short strokes, no lines from front to end, just light hand, short strokes, kind of like it's hair, even though it isn't. So here's a step 1, nothing. Big difference already. And then I'm going to use the eyebrow gel. A little goes a long way with this product. And this just adds some thickness and definition to the hair that you do have. Obviously, I think the average person has more hair than I do, but I think this makes my brows look a little bit thicker and adds some depth to the color as well. I kind of like to push the brush both directions, sort of like you're supposed to do when you apply mascara, zigzagging back and forth. And the point is not to put the product on the skin as much as it is to get it on the hair. You can rake them up a bit for some lift and then just aim them in the direction you want them to go. And that's kind of all I do with my brows. I don't like to go too intense. I want it to look as natural as possible, but obviously I need a little help in the makeup department for eyebrows. So the last step is lipstick, and I never pass up an opportunity to wear a really fun bright lip, and that just feels appropriate for spring. The rest of the makeup look is pretty neutral, so I went with Pech. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I believe it's French for fish, maybe? Don't quote me on that. But it is by Bite, and it is this perfect like watermelon peachy shade. It is bold and it's long wear. It's one of the easiest bold lip colors to wear because it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm gonna finish with that. So here's the finished makeup look. I think an alternative lip color, if you're not into something this bold, would be a really pretty like baby pink. So I'll share a few options for lip colors that would also kind of go with the rest of this makeup look. But yeah, like I said, all of these products can be found at Sephora, and I will link to all of them in the blog post. You can find a link to the blog post below this video if you're watching it on YouTube, and check out that Beauty Insider program if you haven't already. You really are missing out if you're not a part. There's no obligation to buy anything. It doesn't cost anything. You just get benefits and earn points. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this makeup look. Yay for spring. I would love to see other makeup looks you're creating, so tag me on Instagram if you share any photos of them. And if you aren't following me on Instagram, you can find me at K8_smallthings.